Scrappy friends, welcome to my to the channel. Today is National Scrapbooking Day. Well, we're celebrating National Scrapbooking Day. It's not National Scrapbooking Day today. Well, it is when you watch it. When I do this, it is not. Anyway, it is my challenge time. So let's have some fun. Okay, so for part of the challenge, I wanted people to use the mystery kit if they could. So my store has quite a few mystery kits, and I have a couple here just to kind of show you like some stuff. This one actually isn't completely complete, but there's just like some random stuff. So like, you know, a few items. This one is not complete. It needs like one more thing. But anyway, one or two more small things. But anyway, so if you bought a kit and you're playing along, just use some of the stuff that is in the kit. And then you can add to the recipe how you want. So this is what this one has. It just has a few things. Super cute, super fun. Anyway, so I thought it would be really fun for people to use what they got in their kit. If you did not get a kit, that is fine. You can add a few items, as much of you want as mixed media. I just want you to play with some fun stuff. So I also have a list. So it's just a recipe list, and you can grab what you want to add to it. You don't, as long as you add 2 of the things that are on the list, I don't really care. So that's my criteria, just at least 2 of the things. But if you can find something from everything, that would, for this list, it's not very long. Like I said, I suggested either you use your mixed media kit if you had one. If you get a mixed media kit through the Crafty Maven and you want to use that instead, go ahead. Or some watercolor or liquid colors. So that's, I'm going to be using, for the most part, some liquid. I have a whole bunch of shimmers that I haven't really used that much lately. So I thought, hey, this is a fun time to pull them out. So I have some palm reader. This is like a darker green-ish. As you can see, my bottle looks a little wear and tear. I also have this bamboo leaf. This is more of like a sage. I think this is going to go really well with my photos and just the color scheme of the Crafty Maven right now for the April kit. Now, I know that it is May, so really the April kit kind of bleeds into May. I also have this punked up purple, so it is like a really bright purple. And then I have this pop art pink, and this has a shimmer to it, but it's a pink, but it kind of has coral tones to it. And then I also grabbed pink sands, and this is the Ranger and 49 and Market Dye ink. It's just the re-inker. So this is more of a coral type of pink, peachy color. So I thought that I could use those. So that's what I'm going to use for my media, and I might pull in a paste that we have in the store so that you guys can see that. We will see. Okay, so I also have a project or layout or something that you started and put on the side. I was thinking more along the lines of mixed media. So I have a whole bunch of like backgrounds that I've started. And I pulled out a few. At first I was thinking this, but then I got thinking that this green would not work well with the greens that I have here. So I'm actually thinking I probably won't use this, and I'll just set it off to the side. And instead I can use these 2. And what I'm thinking is I want to cut these up into circles, I think, and do something with circles, or something to that line. And then I said either a stencil or a cut file. I'm going to be using a cut file. I'm going to use the Be a Crafty Maven. This is a freebie, so I'll have that link in the description so that you can get this. This is a free for anybody who wants it, and it's at the store. So it just says Be a Crafty Maven, and so I thought this would be really fun with my photos. So I don't know if I will back this up a little bit and then do some more mixed media around it. That's kind of what I was thinking, maybe. So I might use this for part of that, and then use this to, I think I want to do circles with these, is what I was thinking. So that would be really fun. So that's kind of my idea. And then I said something purple, a wood grain, a floral. So these don't have to be papers. They could be embellishments. I want you to interpret the recipe how you want to. I made it pretty loosey-goosey. And then an old embellishment that you've been holding on to. Now, I have a ton of embellishments, guys. Like, a ton. And so I thought, let me pull out some old stuff. I have a box of just older stuff. And I have these Pink Fresh Studio. I think they're mostly Pink Fresh Studio. There might be some other stuff like this, I think is not Pink Fresh Studio. But I know that some of these are, and I thought these might be kind of fun to use. And there's florals in here. Yeah, I think these are click hits, like tags. I know, like, this is for sure pink. I'm pretty sure these are all Pink Fresh. I probably just stuck them all in there. So I thought these would be really fun. I haven't really played with them too much, and they've just been sitting around in my stash. So why not pull these out and use them? Even though, I mean, you know, I have a ton of other stuff that I could pull in, and I don't like, and I might. I have a whole bunch of Vicky Boutin stuff still, and I have a whole bunch of new stuff that I just got. Anyway, and then the last thing is twine, string, fabric, or some kind of texture. So in this month's kit, these were part of it. So some twine and some like tulle. This is like a mint color. It's kind of hard to see. So it's relatively neutral, which is what I wanted, and then some of this fabric. So I thought this would be kind of fun to pull in because it goes, these are pictures of this month's kit, and I want to just kind of tell a little bit more of the Crafty Maven story, because I'm not sure exactly. I've scrapbooked a little bit about it, but I kind of want to go back and redo some more and talk, kind of just reflect on this year. So this is the challenge. So I can't wait to see what you guys have to do, or what you guys do with the challenge. And don't forget to add your comment or add your layouts to the Crafty Maven group, and you will be entered for a chance to win a prize. So let's get on with this process. I am using the cut file Be a Crafty Maven, and I am using some shimmers, like I said before. And so I'm just gonna use my big fluffy, well, I say fluffy, it's like a round paintbrush, and I really like this because I can get really good splatters, but it also, I can get pretty precise. Now, I clean this right away as soon as I'm done using it, and I kind of make sure it gets pointy at the end. You can use any kind of paintbrush you want when you're doing this kind of thing, because there are no rules. Well, there are, but there's not. So now that I did that cut file and I added watercolor, I am going to use, or the spray as watercolor. I'm going to create watercolor spots on my layout. I did add gesso. This is the Liquitex gesso, and so it is more of a creamy white as opposed to a white. If that bothers you, use a white. And there are a lot of different brands that have more of a white. And so I'm still using those same colors that I showed at the beginning, or that I talked about. So we have the purple, and then in that pink color that it is kind of like pearlescent. I added a little bit of the pink sands, which kind of has a corally color to it, and so I just dropped a little bit in. And as you can see, each color that I did, I use my heat gun with it, and I like the way that the heat gun makes the color go in weird places and creates this like cool look. If you don't have to use your heat gun. You can just let it sit, but I get impatient and I really wanted to do this. So as you can see, I have some pieces on the side that I now have a layout out here because I thought I might use that, and I did add mixed media to that other sheet that I had showed at the beginning. I didn't end up using it. I did use a stencil with some just deco art texture paste that is like a crackle. So as it dries, it will kind of crackle a little bit. You won't be able to see it too much. So now I'm just lining all of these. I probably could have even did this faster, but I wanted you to show, I decided that I wanted the inside to have something and not just be all the mixed media. Even though I would have liked to see that, I knew it was going to end up being really busy on these backgrounds. So here I am kind of trying to decide which background do I really want to use. And I decided to use the original one that I made. But I do know that I'm going to need to do something to that word Maven because it kind of blends in. And part of what I do is flip it around, but you'll see that later. So these are the photos that I'm going to use because I am doing this layout to kind of journal and talk about just the direction that the Crafty Maven has went. And I know I did a layout last year talking a little bit more about it, but now that I'm a year in and things are really starting to change for the Crafty Maven, I am super excited and super glad that I decided to make the decision to start a store and make something more of the Crafty Maven. I am so glad I never gave it up, and I almost did. I almost just decided to like close everything down, get rid of the blog and all that kind of stuff, and I'm so glad I didn't. I just let it sit there. I decided that I didn't need to do anything with it when I kind of took a break and wasn't sure, and it was right there waiting for me. And so I am excuse me, documenting the latest kit that I just that just came out. So this is the April kit, which comes out towards the end of April. So all my kits come out at the end of the month, and so even though it says it's for April, it's really a May kit. But anyway, since everybody would be using it in May, but and it just looks so pretty, and so I knew these colors were going to work really well. So like I said earlier, I knew that the Maven, you couldn't see it very well. So my first thought is, let me use this Posca pen. And this is an acrylic paint pen. And I really like the Posca pens. They last like forever and they write really well. I will say that depending on what kind of media you have, it isn't like you can just see it. Now I did switch to a thinner one, and that one is a lot more translucent as opposed to opaque, and so this does kind of help it pop out a little. I don't know why I decided to use the white on there. You really can't see it. Sometimes I think that when I'm not sure, I just do something. And so here I'm adding some more layers, and I just use some of the papers that I used behind the photos. And I am using some papers that were in the April kit. And I'm using some stuff that I just bought and some stuff from my stash to just get all similar colors. And there is pink in the kit, even though there's not really pink so much on the layout. I mean, I know that the pink that I added with the mixed media, it's more of like a corally color, which I like. I like how this turned out, guys. Oh my gosh. And so I did use a little bit of the white like in circles on there. You can't see it that much, but that's okay, because I think that's part of the fun about doing something like this. And I will say, this ended up being way more than I ever meant for it to be. It just did not. I don't know. I worked for so long on this. So this is why it's kind of sped up a little bit fast. So I'm sorry if my hands are making you nuts. I don't like to speed up my videos this long, but otherwise this would have been so long. So I did put some foam on the back of that cut file. I didn't show you all that because I don't think you needed to see it. So it's super, super tedious work. As you can see, I needed to add a little bit more. And this is just going to help lift it up off of that mixed media, because there is a lot of mixed media and it's gorgeous and beautiful. But because I did mixed media on the cut file also, it really is hard to see. And so here I'm coming back, and I had added some die cuts and stuff, and I'm gonna put these back. Essentially, I didn't glue anything down. I kind of played around with it because it was taking me so long, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll add some frames from the kit, because we had the frames in there from the plume and petal collection. And I do end up using the one side, and then I thought I'd put it behind that one photo, and then I take it away because I just don't like it. It just didn't work for me. I do add some circle elements, and that is from the Pink Fresh Studio Paige Evans collection, and some of the other die cuts are from Pink Fresh Studio too. And I really the colors worked out really well. There's a little bit more blue in some of the Pink Fresh watercolory type cuts, but that's okay. I mean, I don't know. I probably wasn't going to ever get it perfect the way I maybe kind of wanted it to stand out. I really wanted that Maven, and I really wanted the florals to come out of it, but because there was so much mixed media, I just think it wasn't going to be forward facing unless I had used like ink around the edges, and maybe I should have did that. I don't know. So as you can see, I'm putting things back, and I'm not even putting them back in the same place. I should have did that because I did like how it was before, but I did add some extra flowers and stuff, and I do like how it turned out. I love the background. And this is the crux of doing mixed media, right? Is that you can end up just doing a little bit too much, or you can end up it just not quite turning out the way that you think it is, because it is media and it's going to kind of act how it's going to act. And so you just have to pivot. So I thought about adding, actually, I kind of like that. So this is one of the things that always baffles me or interests me, is that when you're looking back at it, when I'm doing this voiceover and I see stuff from up ahead, it does not look the same as when I'm sitting here. And of course, I think that part of it is when you sit there for a while and you start moving stuff around, it just starts being like all the same. And so I'm going to focus on this other side. I will say at the very end, after I'm all done with this, so the pictures will show, I did end up going over the Maven and BA with, I outlined those with a black pen. So I had like a black felt pen that I used on the Maven, and then I used like a smaller ballpoint for the B and A. And so I'm not in love with it, but it also did help so that you could see the Maven a lot better, because it just blends right in. It just blends right in. And that I should have did it in a different color or kept it white. Maybe that would have looked well, or did it with the pattern paper. That could have looked really awesome too. So I'm just playing around, getting these perfect, which they're never going to be, but I do think it turned out really well. And then I will add a little bit of black X's underneath some of the clusters, and then this will be done. So I can't wait to see what you guys end up with, and don't forget to play along. See you guys later.